On the afternoon of May 1st, 1994, the sun blazed harshly over the Imola circuit in Italy, yet carried an inexplicable chill. In the cockpit of his FW16 race car, the man sat quietly, not slipping on his helmet and entering his usual competitive state right away. Senna, the driver hailed as the Son of God, removed his helmet and stared blankly into the distance, as if gazing at something invisible to ordinary eyes. Just the day before, in practice, his fellow driver Ratzenberger had lost his life on the track. It shook Senna deeply, he who had always believed in God and pursued divine balance. Tonight, by the soft glow of a flickering fire, let us wander into his true life story, one that requires no effort to remember. This is no mere tale of victories and roaring engines. It is the story of a soul meditating amid extreme danger, searching for divinity on the edge of life and death. All his life, he seemed to wrestle with an invisible will, until that fateful corner, where he handed in his final answer. When speed reaches its ultimate limit, time stands still. And Senna was the one who saw eternity in that stillness. If you asked Senna to name his greatest racing experience, he would not speak of champagne on the podium. He would speak of Monaco in 1988. On that narrow, winding street circuit, Senna slipped into an almost supernatural tunnel state. He felt as if he was no longer driving the car, but that his consciousness had left his body, looking down at himself from the end of the tunnel as he raced through the corners at full speed. In that moment, the car, traveling at over 200 kilometers per hour, was no longer a cold machine, but an extension of his own body. Every vibration of every bolt resonated with his heartbeat. He finished a full 55 seconds ahead of the second-place driver, a near impossible miracle at the highest level of motorsport. Yet he felt a deep fear. He realized he had crossed the boundaries of mortal men and touched a forbidden realm he was never meant to reach. This experience led him to read the Bible more and more. No longer satisfied with being just an athlete, he longed to achieve spiritual transcendence through speed. His performances in the rain were nothing short of miraculous. Whenever storm clouds gathered and other drivers prayed for safety, Senna found his true rhythm. To him, raindrops were not obstacles, but a baptism sent from God, clearing his vision in a chaotic world to reveal the one true line. He began to believe his life was not his own. He was chosen to witness miracles under the most extreme conditions. Senna's loneliness came from his aristocratic purity, which set him apart from the world around him. In the paddock, a microcosm of politics, money, and intrigue, he was like a heretic in a racing suit. His rivalry with Alain Prost was later described as a clash between an alien and a professor, but at its core, it was idealism against realism. Prost chased calculation and results. Senna chased divine perfection. This pursuit cost him deeply. He often sat alone in his room after races, exhausted, as if returning from a holy war. He cared little for fame. What mattered to him was whether, in those crucial 4 minutes, he had achieved absolute inner balance. He once said, "If you no longer seek the limit, you are no longer a racing driver." But behind those tough words lay a quiet anxiety about his physical limits and a sharp sensitivity to fate. At his jungle villa in Brazil, he built a peaceful garden, trying to soothe the tension of the track. There, he fed birds and walked quietly, like an ordinary hermit, trying to rediscover the smiling Brazilian boy he once was. Let us return to the eerie spring of 1994, the final season of Senna's life. After moving to Williams, he felt no relief. Instead, he sensed a restless spirit within that blue and white race car. He repeatedly complained to engineers about the steering feel, as if the wheel guiding his fate was slipping out of control. On that Sunday morning, he spent an unusually long time reading the Bible in his hotel room, marking a passage about God granting the greatest strength. In the locker room, he tucked an Austrian flag inside his sleeve, planning to pay tribute to the late Ratzenberger if he won. It was an uncharacteristic act of compassion. In a cruel world where only victory mattered, he thought first of the fallen. Before the start, he looked at his team one last time. His usual fierce determination was gone, replaced by a quiet sorrow. When the 5 red lights went out, he shot forward as always. But at the Tomborello corner, the car slammed straight into the concrete wall. This was no ordinary technical error. It felt like a solemn sacrifice. On the track he loved most, he completed his final meditation. In that moment, the roar of the engine fell silent. In its place, a heartbreaking, sacred stillness echoed through the Imola Valley. After Senna's passing, Brazil fell into a state of national mourning unlike any before, a deep pain of losing a spiritual pillar. People knelt along the streets as his funeral procession passed. Not for his 3 world championships, but for the dignity he had given children in the favelas. He had secretly donated hundreds of millions to education during his lifetime, a fact only revealed after his death. On the track, he was a ruthless competitor who gave no quarter. In life, he was a gentle saint, saving and uplifting others. This extreme contrast turned the name Senna beyond sport into an icon of an era. On his tombstone reads, "Nothing can separate me from the love of God." What he sought in ultimate speed was never first place, but an eternal connection that could dissolve all loneliness. He once predicted his own end, saying that if an accident happened, he did not want to die confined to a wheelchair. He wanted to die whole, and quickly. God seemed to answer his prayer, taking him in his brightest, clearest moments, carried away by light. At his funeral, even Alain Prost, his greatest rival, quietly helped carry his coffin, a final reconciliation between 2 souls. At the end of this story, we still remember that moment when Senna closed his eyes at 300 kilometers per hour. Did Senna really see God? Perhaps it does not matter. What matters is that he showed us that even in the noisiest, most utilitarian world, a heart can remain pure, like a saint. Through his racing, he proved that life is not only measured by its length, but by its depth. Somewhere now, Senna may be driving his beloved car on an endless track, bathed in eternal sunshine. Tonight, let us close our eyes gently, carrying this feeling of ultimate speed and peace. Of life, death, and divinity. Life can be like a long, winding corner, sometimes confusing, sometimes dangerous. But as long as you hold that light in your heart, you will never truly be lost. May your dreams tonight be filled with the absolute calm that rises above all noise. Good night.